Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. We're going to close out the show talking about your health and preventing heat stroke. I'm here with Sun Jones. Thanks so much for coming on the show. It's good to meet you.
So nice to meet you, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you today.
I have to say, especially in the South, we're here in Georgia, it gets pretty scary in terms of, trying to protect ourselves and trying to stay hydrated. What kind of tips do you have to help us to prevent a possible heat stroke situation?
So, before we have issues with the heat stroke, first thing we need to recognize the symptoms of dehydration. A lot of people think of, being thirsty, and that's the time for them to hydrate themselves. But, before you even feel thirsty, then you want to go ahead and continue with the cool water and some sports drinks or some electrolyte, drinks to keep your body hydrated. And when your body becomes very dehydrated in this heat now, you can suffer heat exhaustion, which can lead to heat stroke. So prevention is just recognizing the symptoms, hydrating your body, and that's the best option.
Oh, that's fantastic, because you're right. I think that we don't always consider that we need to stay hydrated. If our mouth isn't dry, we're like, okay, we're fine. But you're saying don't let it get to that point. Don't let it get to the point where your mouth is dry.
Definitely. If you're feeling thirsty, it's almost like it's a late sign, So you want to drink sips of water, sometimes even kids, you want to offer them like cool pops, like I don't want to call it popsicles because it has too much of sugar, but low sugar, frozen, flavored popsicles that you can make at home, then they will be hydrated, hydrating themselves very easily for you to go ahead and sip on the little ice cold water throughout the day, or ice chips, having the ice chips. Those are really helpful. So doing that before they feel thirsty might be very helpful.
Okay. To your point, having those things on hand, having those things easily accessible will help us greatly. Are there particular foods, are there particular fruits that are high in water that could also assist us?
Definitely fruits, number one option during summertime in the hot weather, the frozen watermelons, so sometimes you can cut them up and freeze it and then have them as a snacks. It's got a lot of water contents. So that might be helpful. Yes. Mm-hmm.
In terms of our perspiration, again, we're here in Georgia, so we feel like as soon as we step outside, we're sweating. But is there anything that we should be concerned about? Are we sweating too much in a certain area? Do we feel drenched? Is there anything like that we can kind of watch?
So being in Atlanta area, you have a very high humidity. And so, of course, with the humidity and your body sweating, your body temperature may go up higher than you realize, So you're drying yourself with the sweats and making sure that you are keeping up with the electrolytes. By sweating a lot, you lose salt and potassium and other things that your body really needs. And so you want to go ahead and make sure that you hydrate yourself with some electrolytes as well, and dry your body and keeping up with, cool towels around your neck, some of the wonderful little gel type of, cooling towels that they sell. You just keep them in cold, in the refrigerator, or freeze it and take it out when you're going outside. You can wrap around your neck, and that's going to cool your body down so much more. Yes.
Oh, okay. That's, and I appreciate you mentioning the electrolytes, because I think that sometimes we feel like water is enough. But the electrolytes really can help us in many ways if we do, something that has a little more than just the water in it. Is that right?
Definitely. Because sometimes, when you're sweating a lot, your body's losing the salt. And with the losing those electrolytes, you may be suffering some cramps. So you may have a severe heat cramps. That's what we call it. The muscles get really tight, and you know how painful they can be. So it is very important to replace your electrolytes. Be careful of those, heavy sugared drinks. Some people think drinking soda is helpful, and maybe even alcohol, but those can dehydrate you more. And so drinking the replacement electrolytes, I don't want to say the branded names, but they're adult electrolytes or pediatric electrolytes that they sell that you can mix with water. So it is special when you're sweating a lot. It's very important to replace those electrolytes that you are losing.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all this education with us. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Well, it was very nice meeting you, and thank you again for this opportunity. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we have all the tips that we need. Please take the opportunity to learn more about how to stay hydrated during these hot summer days in Atlanta. We just want to keep you safe and healthy. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to this week's episode of Focus Atlanta. I hope to see you next Sunday here on WUPA.